Niger Delta elders applaud Amnesty Office for prioritizing dialogue. Niger Delta gains as Amnesty program records more successes. Plus, tidbits, fact file, and more. Hello and welcome to Reintegration 30,000. I am Stella Inamiti, your host, and I will be here possibly for the next half hour, dishing out bits and pieces of what constitutes the reformative agenda of the Presidential Amnesty Program. It is important to remind you that each week, Reintegration 30,000 comes with a unique perspective to the Niger Delta narrative, using the changing stories of those directly impacted by the Amnesty Program to give voice to the successes of the program. Of course, this episode promises to deliver on that and even more. We have lined up our regular segments and will fast-track events here with our first segment, A Changed Story. This week, our changed story is on the lives of not just one or two delegates, but three. These delegates will be telling us how their lives turned for the better. As a matter of fact, they will be speaking on behalf of 7 other delegates who incidentally are their colleagues at the bread baking facility in the Kuje axis of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Let's join our changed story.
I'm David Bariki from Bayelsa State.
My name is Peter Ire from Edo State, Akoko Edo.
My name is Sunday Obadia from Rivers State.
I'm a selected delegate for the Amnesty Program, Niger Delta Amnesty Program, and I'm very happy and delighted to be part of this program because it has really changed my life.
Like they have always said that an idle man is the devil workshop. Then I don't have a job. I keep roaming about.
I'm a fisherman before, but right now I thank God for Amnesty Program. They empower me, they change my life to another something.
When I came to this place, I don't know what and words that will add to make a bread. But they told me, I was watching them how to do it. First of all, you put a flour in the machine, in the mixing machine. After the flour, you add yeast, you add water, you add sugar, then you add improver, you add butter, then you start mixing. After the mixing, you touch it if the mixing is okay. If it is not okay, you add little water again, then you start the machine. If it has gets to the stage that the flour is okay, you now transfer it from the machine to a table where we will start cutting.
I was not a baker initially, but Sovovic's enterprise taught me how to bake, to be a professional baker, a world standard. I don't know anything about baking before. I actually have passion for hospitality. I have passion for baking. Now I can bake anything, pastries like cake, meat pie, bread, and all others.
We thank God for federal government. They supported Amnesty Program. They supported empower our youth, for this program. Before, if I saw bread for road, I don't know how to make bread. But right now, I feel make bread. From making bread, I feel mix, and we are using local machine. We thank God for Nigeria. We thank God for federal government. We thank God for Federal Ministry of science and technology, because they bring local oven. We get experience for local oven, local mixer. We are using cassava flour right now. I feel mixed bread for myself. I feel produce bread for people. I feel produce bread for Nigeria.
My work is to bring the beauty of the bread, not even the taste. If people fall in love with the beauty first before they go for the taste. If my product, my end product is not attractive, people will not patronize. So the mixer only makes and gets the taste acceptable out there. So I do the outside look of it. I determine if it should be brown or white for the market.
After you taste this, you're going to say this one is professional bread by Nigeria production. Our work or our bread is professional bread, special bread.
As I am now in this bakery, if they finish baking, they transfer it to me. I distribute it all around. We move from this village to another village, to Amnesty office, from there to presidential.
Handwork is very, very important. That is why we're appreciating Amnesty program. We thank God for them. I achieve from them, then change my family, change my picture, change everything. Now I'm a better human being.
My profound gratitude goes to the President Buhari, and the special advisor on Amnesty program, Brigadier General Buru, for overseeing this program.
Now I don't think of any other thing. Rather, I think of the kind of knowledge I have acquired here, and I am willing to transfer the knowledge I have had from here to the people that are willing to learn.
Good one for those young folks. Well, there are hundreds more who have been empowered by the Amnesty Office in baking and confectionery. Under the Amnesty training portfolio, this area falls under a subhead, which is the hospitality industry. Today on Insight, we will be taking a look at the training in the hospitality sector conducted by the Presidential Amnesty Program. Developing expertise in vocations such as tailoring and fashion design, as well as culinary skills, might appear seemingly simple. However, experts in these fields are often quick to point out that providing maximum satisfaction for clients is not an easy task. Learning these vocations and perfecting in the hospitality business have become an integral part of an evolving society, thus informing the involvement of the Presidential Amnesty Office in this sector. Over the last few years, the Amnesty Office has engaged partners whose mandates have been to train delegates who volunteered to master this specific craft while highlighting their economic importance as well.
I would tell you in terms of training people and now including the final process, which is including empowering them, starting them off, I would say thank you. Thank you to the system. Thank you to anyone and everyone whose idea it is that we just don't stop at training, because if you give a man that training and you don't give him a source of using it, then you frustrate him, because then he thinks, why am I like this right now? Because if the amnesty program didn't give us the opportunity, I wouldn't have met the over 150 women that I have met, wouldn't have been able to contribute to their success story, wouldn't have even been able to myself discover part of the problem and then begin to work towards solving them. We all would have been deprived, including me. We all would have been deprived. But because this opportunity showed up and I showed up and used it, that's why I can tell you now that in terms of addressing human capacity development, it's a fantastic project.
Dozens of successfully trained delegates in this area are either managing their own fashion design business or working in the hospitality sector as sous chefs and hoteliers.
White-collar job is not everything. Skill is one important thing and it helps a lot. Having skill is like you have something within you that you can never lose till the day you die. Lots of people have been empowered, some have gone to school, and the difference is already showing. So if it is sustained, I know that it will make a lot of difference to the young people, and not just the young, to everybody.
To further consolidate the gains being made in these areas, the Presidential Amnesty Office is expanding partnerships to key professional institutes with vested interest in training young entrepreneurs. One of such partnerships is with the International Institute of Tourism and Hospitality in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, where 1,000 Amnesty delegates are projected to be trained over a 10-month span in batches of 100 each. The training is projected to explore the diverse opportunities inherent in the rich cultural heritage of African societies, while emphasizing the peculiarities of the Niger Delta ecosystem for tourism and hospitality. In essence, the delegates are being trained to have a solid base for fashion and catering businesses. All trained delegates in whether fashion and design or catering and hospitality are given business startup packs to begin small enterprises. You're watching Reintegration 30,000. Moving on now, our guest on this week's episode of Talking Point is a Niger Delta stakeholder and chieftain. He is also the member representing the 3 states of Delta, Edo, and Ondo in the Presidential Amnesty Program. He is Chief Dan Ekpebide from Baramatu Kingdom in Delta State. Chief, it is a pleasure having you on Reintegration 30,000.
Thank you, Stella. You're welcome.
Let's begin this conversation by getting some feelers from the people that you represent in the Presidential Amnesty Program. What are their thoughts with regards to the implementation of the program so far?
Yeah, first and foremost, we want to thank the past administration for creating this amnesty program. Most especially the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who brought the young men out of creeks and then put them together, disarmed them, and then, you know, we are the stage of reintegration now. I think it's a fantastic one, and of course, to this present administration for keeping up the amnesty program. The amnesty program did not only develop did not only develop human capital in the Niger Delta, it has gone to bring peace to the people of the Niger Delta and of course to the country as large. I want to tell you that the amnesty program has done so well. Previous program was based on the pilot of that program. It was based on hair piloting and then education for our people. Many graduates have come out, some made first class, and of course, in their various institutions outside the shores of this country, they performed very well. That goes to tell you that the people of the Niger Delta, they are not dumps. They know what they want. If they can get first class, second class, upper in higher institutions outside the shores of this country, that is to tell you that these people, if you put them together, they will give you the best in them. You know, so the issue of saying restiveness and then, of course, unrest in the Niger Delta, well, these things are everywhere. They are everywhere. Even in the north, in the south, in the west, these things are everywhere. So therefore, I want to thank this government for what they are doing with the program. Ordinarily, one thing that is so evident in government, previous government, is that they meet a program that was ongoing from the other government. They will say, no, they want to start a thing of their own. But this present government is keeping up with the amnesty program. I want to thank them very well. The program is succeeding. It's really working.
Do you think these thoughts and feelers align with the rest of the region? And do you think the successes of the presidential amnesty program are worthy of note and ought to be celebrated?
Of course, yes. I don't expect everybody to feel the same way, but I think I make bold to tell you that majority of the people feel the impact of the amnesty program and they are happy with it.
In spite of the successes being recorded by the amnesty program, we still get pockets of disturbances. How do we, I mean government and the people of the region, quell or perhaps curb these disturbances?
Well, social disturbances are everywhere. It's not exclusive. It's not restricted. It's not only in the Niger Delta. Things like this are expected. The most celebrated criminal in Nigeria today, Evans, is not from Niger Delta. And of course, today they call him the billionaire kidnapper. It's not from the Niger Delta. So these things are not exclusive. They are not restricted. They are not only in the Niger Delta. They are everywhere in this country. One thing I want to tell you is this. We should separate criminality from the struggle of the Niger Delta. In some areas of the Niger Delta and other areas of the country, what is happening, you treat criminality as criminality. Separate criminality from the struggle of the Niger Delta people, you know. So if you have criminals in the Niger Delta, deal with them as you deal with criminals anywhere in any other part of the country. If you have criminal in the north, deal with him as a criminal, like you deal with the one in the Niger Delta. So let's separate criminality from Niger Delta struggle. Thank you.
Just before I let you go, let me ask you about your dream Niger Delta region. How do you want it to be, say, in another decade?
Well, I want to see a Niger Delta that can be likened to any other part of the world. Like when you travel out of this country, you go to the Western countries, you see what is obtainable in terrains like the Niger Delta. I want to see a Niger Delta that looks like Miami, because we have beaches all over the Niger Delta that looks better than the Miami beach. That is the type of Niger Delta I want to see. I want to see a Niger Delta that looks like Dubai. Dubai today now is a tourist attraction. Niger Delta can be turned to a thing like that. And this cannot be achieved without peace in the Niger Delta. Therefore, the government needs to bring every stakeholder on board. We need the Ateketom, we need the Tompolo, we need every other person to bring peace to the Niger Delta, not look at them as a perceived enemies. We need all of them to be stakeholders and partakers in the peace, much needed peace in the Niger Delta.
Chief, thank you for joining us on the program. We do hope to speak with you again in the future on matters pertaining development in the Niger Delta.
Thank you, Stella.
Chief Dan Ekpebide is a Niger Delta stakeholder and chieftain. He is also the member representing the 3 states of Delta, Edo, and Ondo in the Presidential Amnesty Program. Time now for our segment PAP in Recap. The Presidential Amnesty Office has expanded its consultations with interest groups and stakeholders from the Niger Delta region. While these meetings are geared towards addressing issues of common interest, both to the federal government and the people of the region, they have provided a rare opportunity for feedback on policy implementation on key public programs. At one of such meetings in Abuja, the leaders affirmed support for the Buhari administration and commended Brigadier General Paul Boro for exemplary leadership and prudence in the management of the Amnesty Office.
We are praising the issues that we have in the Niger Delta because maintaining peace in the Niger Delta is centered in this office. It is within the purview of the Special Advisor to the President of Niger Delta to ensure that he wades into any area that could cause any stir that will, cause a breach of the peace in the Niger Delta.
The key issue is he has also been able to bring together all the warring factions within the region with the view of making lasting peace so that we can make progress. I think what is paramount is for us to support him, work together, and attract investors into the Niger Delta. This is what he has been fighting for.
In another news, the Institute of Quality Assurance of Nigeria has inducted 10 management staff of the Presidential Amnesty Office and an additional 8 management team members into the full membership grade of the Institute by Direct Membership Offer, DMO. The Executive Advisor to the Registrar and Chief Executive, Mr. Otto Kedet, who led a quality team of 4 of its members to the formal induction ceremony, explained that the conferment was the result of ongoing commitment to quality management practice in the Amnesty Office.
Quality is everybody's business, actually, but it cannot be left to the hands of everybody. It is only those that are certified, those that are competent, that can actually handle it. That is why the Institute comes up with their program of continuous professional development.
Candidly speaking, it's an institute that brings to the fore a knowledge-based organization of not only Nigeria but also the international community. The partnership is with the UK, the US, Asian countries as well.
We have come to the end of yet another interesting episode of Reintegration 30,000. I hope you have gotten some insight into the workings, mandate and gains of the Presidential Amnesty Program. Please do join us same time next week on this same channel for more on the activities of the Amnesty Office. We have got several platforms through which you can interact with us. Please endeavor to use these avenues to make your comments and contributions. Until I come your way again, do remember that Amnesty works. I am Stella in Amity.